Well, I'm guessing if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to learn how to bake bread. I'm no master in baking, but I do have a great recipe that all my friends and family members absolutely love. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how I make my bread. I'm also going to be sharing a quick and affordable lentil and barley soup recipe.
For those of you that have already started a sourdough starter, get it out of the fridge because it needs to reach room temperature. We're going to feed our sourdough starter in the usual way with flour and water. Check the link in the description below for a cool sourdough starter recipe. So this is still a little bit runny. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more flour. And as always, make sure to mark so that you can see once your sourdough starter has risen. Hallo my mooitjie.
Nitro, kom eens op.
Hoe gaan het? Is het? Ja, nou kan ik jou druk. So we are using beef in this recipe and the meat has been in the pressure cooker for an hour. Stay tuned for the mystery ingredient in the soup, which will be revealed a little bit later. Now I normally don't measure, I just gauge. I'm going to be baking 2 loaves of bread, so I think I added about 4.5 cups of lukewarm water, but just bear in mind the amount of water you add and the amount of flour you'll be having to add. Sometimes people add too much water and then you have to add too much flour and you've got a big piece of dough that you then have to use. If you're only baking for one person, then make sure that you maybe just use 2 cups of water. I only have 2 hours to bake 2 loaves of bread, so I'm adding half a packet of yeast. And then just keep adding flour to create the right consistency, but do it a little bit at a time. Now this is the most important part because you kind of have to recreate the same motion that the bread machine would do with the dough. So you really have to get in there and knead your dough until it reaches a gluten-like consistency. Top with a little bit of olive oil, cover and let it rise. You can purchase this barley and lentil mix at any local Woolies. We are now going to separate the beef from the broth so that we can put the barley and lentil mix into the broth and just let that simmer for a little bit. Keep an eye on your lentil and barley mix because you don't want to overcook that and create a mush. The meat is not quite tender enough. We want it to fall off the bone, so it's going back into the pressure cooker. So once your dough has risen, you are now going to stretch and fold it. This just helps the gluten to develop even more. And I'm going to then cover it, let it rise once again, and repeat this process another time before I separate this dough, put it in 2 baking bins to actually then bake this bread. Depending on the temperature within your room, you might have to allow a little bit more time for the dough to rise. Because we have 2 steam pots going at once in this kitchen, it is a very lovely temperature for the dough to actually rise much quicker. This is super therapeutic, and you're gonna love seeing the little bubbles pop up in between your dough as you keep on stretching and folding. This is what's going to create those little bubbles in your bread later on. Go ahead and set your temperature to 175 degrees Celsius. You're going to want to bake top and bottom with the fan going. This is going to have to be done at least 15 minutes before you start baking. Okay, it's time to get this dough into the baking bins so that we can get it into the oven. You can always just use this dough recipe in the future and add anything to it. I like to add garlic and cheese or spinach and feta. You can really use it for anything, even sweet. Some cinnamon and honey. So let your imagination go wild. Now I'm just going to glaze some egg over the tops of these loaves and then just also top it with some salt and pepper. I usually bake my bread for around an hour, but you kind of have to keep an eye on it, and as any baker would know, you smell it in the air when it's ready. Don't forget to use the leftover egg to make scrambled eggs for your doggos as a tasty treat. So my friend's miniature Yorkie is actually 18 years old and a little bit sick at the moment just due to age. So Jasper won't be getting any eggs today, but Nigel will be enjoying this. Just keep in mind, this is not an everyday treat. This is per special occasion. The bread is starting to look and smell divine after only 30 minutes, so I'm readjusting the temperature to 150 degrees Celsius. After having it in the oven for another 5 minutes, I decided to readjust it from 150 degrees down to 100 degrees Celsius. So I've moved the temperature from 150 to 100 down to 75 in the matter of 15 minutes, just because the bread was really baking at a fast pace. Back home, I literally leave my bread in the oven at the same temperature for about 50 to 55 minutes. So it really does depend on what oven you're going to be using to bake your bread in. Our bread is ready and it smells absolutely divine.
nou vir die eerste keer 'n bietjie ordentlik.
Okay, so it's time to dish up and share a meal.
Dit kom nou broodjies maak.
Smeer.
Ag, van. Dat is so baie bietjie af. Wil jy net so baie potjies maak? Water. Ek sou goed dik water.
Anyway,
Want dit is
Dankie Here Jesus vir die lekker kos. Dankie vir my maatjie. Dankie dat ons kan saam eet, Here.
die ding lyk potent, hy het baie skuim hier binne.
Maar dis bruin asyn met knoffel en rooi chilies. Ek gooi hom.
Kyk. Ek wil net gou daar. Kyk al die skuim daar. Ek glo ek gaan okay wees.
Ja. This infused.
May you always be a child in curiosity, delight and eagerness. I wish you the happiness of love that does not change with change, that shines as surely in age as in youth. I wish you joy and peace and deep contentment and always, always love. Until we meet again, remember to always be the light that you wish to see in this world.